on him!
Welcome to Fish North Georgia the Guide. Here's Chris Gayton.
Hello, Fish North Georgia fans. Chris Gayton coming to you with another fishing update from Lake Allatoona this time. It's second time ever being on the lake. I don't have a lot of experience on the lake, but just wanted to share a few things that we found. We fished a tournament out there this weekend with Electric Bass Opens. Was fortunate enough to win the tournament, and it's all anchored by one big fish that we caught. But to give you a little bit of background on it, it was in Stamp Creek. Water clarity was clear. I know that's, I've heard that Stamp Creek gets a little dirty. Both times I fished it's been pretty clear. Water temp was in the mid 60s. And what I found and what ended up, allowing us to win the tournament was a shad spawn. Thousands and thousands of shad up in some grass on the very upper end of Stamp Creek, and big schools of bass just feeding on them. One thing that was a little bit odd for me is, normally on a shad spawn, I'll throw a swim jig, I'll throw a spinner bait, a fluke, a swim bait, several different options that I would normally throw. But the water temperature was clear. We didn't catch any fish out early. I threw top water, buzz bait, tried a walking bait, both the gunfish style and a spook junior, trying to match the hatch, trying to match the size of shad that we were seeing. It just didn't work. It didn't work at all for us. And after the sun got up and we could actually see in the water, we could see these bass sitting on the edge of this grass, and they had the shad pushed all the way up in the grass line. Tried throwing a frog, nothing. And what I noticed is when you throw a spinnerbait at them or a swim jig at them, and you pop that swim jig out of the grass, they would actually run from it. They would leave. So we started actually sight fishing for these bass that were eating shad. I know that sounds crazy, but it is what it is. And what we found out is something really subtle. We ended up catching all of our fish on trick worm. I haven't thrown one of these in years. A trick worm and a Cinco. Normally if I throw this, it'll be on a shaky head. I was throwing a weightless trick worm and bringing it out of the grass very slowly. And when this trick worm would fall, I had it on a 3/0 hook, and when it hooked weedless, throw it up in the grass. When I'd pull it out, this trick worm would fall down in front of those bass, and you could actually watch their gills flare when they would suck it up. That's what almost all of our fish come off of. We did catch a couple fish on a shaky head later in the day, and our big fish, what anchored the tournament win for us. It was actually midday. She was a post spawn, big female. There was a lay down that was fresh, or a blow down. Pretty big pine tree, had a lot of green still on it, a lot of shad or brim in the top of the tree. My fishing partner actually flipped a little lightweight 3/16 ounce jig like this one here from Castleberry Bait Company. By the way, if you haven't checked out their jigs, you need to check them out. I've literally got a jig on that I've had tied on 7 weeks. I'm trying to keep a count. 7 weeks. I've been running the same jig, threw it on rocks, threw it on, when I first got it, Bryson Hall, the owner over at Castleberry, told me to try to beat it up and let me know what it thought. I actually took it out in my driveway on the concrete, made 4 or 5 20-yard pitches with a 1/2 ounce jig, reeled it back across the concrete, and I'm still fishing with that same jig today. I've tied it on. I've retied it a few times, but I've never took it off that rod. But sorry to get off track there. These weed yards are awesome too. Normally I trim down all of my weed yards. This is a medium factory weed yard, very, very good weed yard. But the paint is unbelievable. This is a living rubber 3/16 ounce jig. Flip that up in a hole in the top of that tree, and that's what got her. She eat it on the fall. She probably should have been around a 7-pound fish post spawn. She's beat up, but that was it. I do know that I got a lot of bites up shallow on an 1/8 ounce shaky head. There was no wind, so I was throwing an 1/8 ounce shaky head with that trick worm, and they were biting it very weird. But I did get a lot of bites. Most of them were biting it on the fall. You'd never feel them. And, it was hard to connect with those fish. But what worked for us was the shad spawn up until midday, 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock we moved, and actually at 11:30, my partner, Nick White, caught the big fish on a 3/16 ounce jig. That was pretty much it. Like I said, we got several bites throughout the day on the shaky head. Just nothing that upgraded a lot of small fish. But definitely a fun time nevertheless. So that's all I have for this week. Be going out. I don't know where I'm going to go this weekend. If I'm able to get in a tournament over at or this coming weekend, if I'm able to get on a tournament over at Latham, I'm going to fish that. If not, I don't know where I'll go. That's one good thing about these electric motor lakes. There's several options pretty close, and may try something different. We'll see. But I'll have another update for you next week. Be sure to tune in. Thank you all.
Thanks for watching the guide here at Fish North Georgia. Our mission is to build a community of anglers to give you the best and latest information to make your day on the water more successful. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, click the bell so you'll be notified of any future content. Make sure you check us out at fishnorthgeorgia.com, where we carry a large variety of bait manufacturers from here in the North Georgia area. So we appreciate you being part of our community, and we'll see you soon.